Alright, Shalom. Shalom. First of all, to give our praise, our honor, and our glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakapadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who saw us as 100% true. Shalom to the hopefully elect. Shalom to all the Akim pushing truth and sincerity. Shalom to the sincere operator who may be out there watching and learning. It's ready to call.
I told one.
GMS Clemens, Ohio Bears coming at you again with another quick lesson through the spirit. And really, this lesson's, centered, around the end, and really the state of the world, the state of the people, and as you look around and you pay attention to how things are moving, prophecy is coming to pass very heavily in these recent days, recent weeks. But another thing, is the way that people are trying their hardest to hold on to their past, trying to hold on to things how they were before. I know for me and my generation, did Jake think about, back in 2006, 2007, 2008, you're young, the summers was still cool, drinking out the water hose, little stuff like that, having house parties, things like that, Jake tries to hold on to, the world in general, you got older folks, want to go back to the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, just when things seem to be a little better, fun was actually fun. The things nowadays, it's like, shit, everything that's popping is catered towards what was before.
Nostalgia.
And that's just where I got this definition pulled up for nostalgia. It says, this is a quick Google search, it says, a sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period or place with happy personal associations. You see, and that's what everybody's chasing, chasing that first high, so to speak. Chasing that feeling, where things, were better, different smells. You might have a glimpse of a smell that you grew up around, you be like, damn, I remember that smell. Little stuff like that, and it just shows, more and more that we're at the end of this place, man, and it's time for a new leaf to be turned over.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
Quick. Let's bring this out. Oldie but goodie, classic, Proverbs 29:2. I'm gonna go NLT. It says, when the godly are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked are in power, they groan. And just pretending, like you said, to the times, man, that's why people are, searching for that nostalgic feeling. Again, like the brother mentioned, summers used to be fun as shit being young. You know what I'm saying? Be fun, you out, till dawn, playing, wrestling, doing all that shit, jumping off, the mattresses, even for Jake who was in the hood and fucked up, everybody got $1, that dollar stretch, like if you could get $1 a day, you was good. And even for, like you said, for Esau, man, it's just all around the board, people are chasing that comfort, that time where they were genuinely happy, when life was calmer, when things, were more simple, were simplified, routine was just, the routine, you had your weekly routine, go to school, get off, do your homework, go play, get done playing, shower, go to bed, all the way into the weekend, and that Friday feeling, oh, it's Friday, can't wait, got the weekend, Friday, spend the night at your friend's crib, fucking, until, stay up all night, try to pull all-nighters and shit, pranking each other, throwing water, all that shit, bro, so, based upon what's going on in the planet Earth today, with the wicked being in power and in rulership, everyone is chasing, again, that nostalgic feeling of when, like I said, they were genuinely happy in the earth, and it was peak years in, the U.S., you had the 90s, nice, for whoever was born in those days, you know, or grew up during that time. Like you said, for us, you know, 05, 06, 07, 08, you know what I'm saying? When, you know what I'm saying? You know, shit was good for us in our generation, being born in the 2000s. You know, for some older people, you know, the mid 80s, you know, to the late 80s, you know what I'm saying? You know, so again, you know, if Esau, Edom, and rulership, man, that peace has been taken from the earth, and that's what everyone is searching for. But we know ultimately, man, it was, you know, just a portion of time, all right, that ultimately had its time, and it, you know, that season is over, you know. But one more time, it says Proverbs 29:2. It says, "When the godly are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked are in power, they groan." Right, and real quick, look up that word "groan" if it comes up. It should be the same thing for mourn. It says sigh, groan, in pain or grief, gasp. You know, you know what I'm saying? One of them, you know, one of them big, you know, the deep sighs, you know, and that's what you see, you know, all across the board. But you got it, bro.
Yeah, you know, it's sad, you know, and then, you know, you watch, when you think about it, you know, you know, generations of old have watched the world wax worse and worse and worse, you know what I'm saying, over the years, you know, and it's not, things are not fun anymore. And then even in our short span, you know, we watched the world wax worse. You know, we literally watched women truly trump over men, you know what I'm saying? All these different kind of things, you know, we watched the progression of the alphabet community grow to an all-time high. You know what I'm saying? We watched the delusion of the people, you know what I'm saying, and how they act, you know what I'm saying? We watched the transition, you know what I'm saying? People want to be fucking dogs and weird shit these days. You know, we watched all these things, you know what I'm saying, in our short time, you know, so imagine, you know, how the old timers feel, you know, that lived in, you know, okay, this wasn't popular, this wasn't this, now it's a big thing, you know.
Gone. Right, because ultimately, you know, this wasn't how things were intended to be. You know what I'm saying? Through and through, you know, although the heathen would be in subjection, etc., you know, they had their position, their rightful position on the earth. And the earth was made to benefit all creation. You know what I'm saying? Of course, like I said, it's going to be order established in the midst. But, you know, when the sons of God are in authority once more, those things will be restored, you know. Righteous judgment will be restored. You know what I'm saying? Obedience will be restored. You know, true fun, true happiness will be restored. You know, of course, after that 1,000-year period, you know, when we whip the heathen into shape, all right, and, you know, put them, you know, in their rightful place. Okay, but after that, everyone's going to go to their, you know, respective lands and, you know, and live merry lives as long as they, you know, abide by the rules and regulations that are set up by the Heavenly Father via Yahweh Shai and his governing body, you know. But you got it, bro.
I got a quick precept, 2 Timothy 3, let me get to the point, verse 13, it says, "But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived." You know what I'm saying? This world is filled with deceit. You know what I'm saying? This world is filled with, what I want to say, exposure. You know what I'm saying? Everything is being exposed. You know, everything is coming out. You know what I'm saying? The depth, you know, behind everything that's going on over a course of time. You know, and you know, the people are starting to realize it. You know what I'm saying? But that's why people are holding on to the past, because, you know, they don't want to live in the present, because, you know, whether they want to admit it or not, everyone is seeing, you know, how bad this place has become. Everyone sees how much hell is going on in the world, but, you know, they deny it, you know what I'm saying, or they put it on the back burner and try to live out their worldly lust and live out, you know what I'm saying, that nostalgic feeling. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see people doing, we hosting the 90s party or whatever, you know what I'm saying? All these different little things, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's trying to find the old game systems. I'm gonna try to find a GameCube, or I'm gonna try to find an Atari, you know what I'm saying? Get all the games for shit like that.
Yeah, which that's all an illusion, really, because You know, and that's the deceitfulness that Esau Edom has pushed in the earth. You know, that peace, right, which on the back burner, you know, it was never peace. You know, it was all, you know, tactics of war. You know, it was all deception, because true peace is going to come through Yahweh Shai. He is the Prince of Peace, as it is written. You know, so again, man, that's why, like, for us, you know, being in this ministry, we lean on Yahweh Shai in order to get that peace. We don't lean on the world or nostalgia. You know, so although you see some like, damn, I remember the day. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, we know ultimately that true peace is going to come via Yahweh Shai. All right.
We're not out here seeking that high. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to seek that feeling. You know, our minds have been fixed and set to seek the kingdom, and seek the promises to come. You know what I'm saying?
Seek new heavens and a new earth.
Yep.
That's the only way we're gonna really be able to, you know, get peace in the planet. All right, is through new rulership, through new management. Real quick, if I could grab something real quick. So Sirach 10, and I'm gonna start at 3. It says, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Right, and that's what Esau Edom has done. He has destroyed the people. All right, to the point, like I said again, you know, they're chasing that high of being, you know, genuinely happy. All right, comfort, so on and so forth. Verse 4 says, the power of the earth is in the hand of Yahweh, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. See, so we know that to be who? Yahweh Shai. He's going to send the profitable one to rule over the planet. All right, Esau had his time, Esau had his course. Okay, but only through Yahweh Shai will true peace reign on the planet, man. Verse 5, it says, in the hand of Yahweh is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor. You see, so it's all, you know, through the hands of Yahweh Shai, you know, how this place is going to be ran and governed. All right, and now we are under a wicked rule, a wicked authority. Okay, that's destroying the masses, man. All right. Again, that's why people are seeking that comfort, man. But it's gone. It's over. You know, this is the end of an age. You know, the PS2 era ain't coming back.
Right.
Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas, and shit. Nah, that shit's dead. All right. But you got something.
Yeah. This Isaiah 24. Starting verse 11, it says, there is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. See? And just like going into, you know, that crying out. 11.
Isaiah 24:11.
Yeah. I'm going to get the word mirth real quick. It says, exultation, joy, rejoicing.
You got to start up at like 7.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Isaiah 24, starting in verse 7, says, the new wine morning.
You got the NLT?
Yeah.
Reading the NLT.
Yeah. Isaiah 24, 7 NLT, it says, the grapevines waste away, and there is no new wine. All the merry makers sigh and mourn.
Yeah. See, all the merry makers sigh and mourn. You know, because like you think about the grapevines, you know, wine, like it says in the KJV, the new wine morning. You know, wine was made to, you know, make men's heart merry. All right, even that isn't, you know what I'm saying, comfort nowadays. You know, maybe for a time, you know what I'm saying, but you know, it's no good. You know, it's nothing here can really, you know, bring that type of comfort to your life. You know what I'm saying, anymore. You know, things just ain't hard how they were. Things ain't smooth sailing no more. You know.
Yeah, because even in the midst of that, you know, you get snapped right back to reality. You know.
Oh yeah, I got a preset.
You know, you chilling, you trying to, you know, wind down. Them thoughts always creep up on you. You know what I'm saying? And now your mind is set back on the BS and the affairs of the world. You know, the shit that you got going on around you. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, you know, in this day and age, you got to be careful. Even, you know what I'm saying, in your drink, you know what I'm saying? You know, Jake get angry and, you know, let the drink get to him. You know what I'm saying? So it's important, man, you know, to be mindful of even that. You know?
God, you can't be in your feelings.
Yep.
But real quick, this is Proverbs 14:13. It says, even in laughter, the heart is sorrowful, and the end of that mirth is heaviness. So again, like, you know what I'm saying? That's how it is nowadays, you know. You got your yan, you know, your strong drink, you know what I'm saying? All those things that were intended to make man's heart merry, you know, it may come for a short time, but then, like the brother said, reality kicks in. And you know, like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? I gotta, you know, face the world, you know what I'm saying, in a few hours once this shit wear off, you know, face myself.
Yep.
You know? So again, all the things that were intended to make man's heart merry and, you know what I'm saying, bring peace to you, you know, comfort you in some type of fashion, it just destroys you, even the food and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, when you deal with eating was, you know, a ritual, you know, for families, you know what I'm saying? Show appreciation, fellowship, you know, relationships, even that, you know what I'm saying? It's turned upside down. You know, ultimately, you know, we're dealing with poison, all right? But even in that, people don't sit at the round table and eat no more. You know what I'm saying? So again, man, everything is, like the scripture saying, Psalms, what's it, 82? All right, the foundation of the earth are out of course. Everything is just upside down in Esau, Edom's kingdom. All right, and in that, you know, the masses of the people are just losing it, you know? Like, you know, I know Jake see, like, TikTok clips and all that shit, reels. People like, man, you know, I remember being at Big Mama's house, and then we wouldn't be at Big Mama's house, nobody come through. You know I'm saying, like, we was in New Orleans at the brothers, G-Mon's crib. You know, Jake was like, you know what I'm saying, and they feel like there wasn't nobody there. Like, she remember, like, you know what I'm saying, everybody used to be over there and shit. Like, all that shit's dead now. You know, like the brother said, the mirth is, like, where, you know, the scripture saying, Isaiah 24, the mirth of the land is gone. You know?
Yep, and you know, even thinking about that, you know, all the big mamas is passing away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The family gatherings that, you know, we all used to have, you know what I'm saying? All that shit is ceasing. You know, a lot of people don't want to be bothered even. You know, so I know me personally, I don't even care to be bothered like that.
Yeah, facts.
You know, I don't even want to be around too many people. You know what I mean? And that's just the reality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for a lot of people. You know, and a lot of people, when you are around, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people faking it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, putting on fake smiles.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, we do.
Yeah.
We know we ain't happy in this face.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? What's the nigga named, what's the African nigga named sold a cake?
Cabby?
Yeah, Cabby smiling and shit,
Yeah.
fake smiling and shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, because we know what's up. You know what I'm saying? But then again, we openly smile when we do this because we know what's to come. All right, but for the masses, they don't have that spiritual eye salve. They don't have tunnel vision, you know, concerning this thing. They don't have the comforter to comfort them in the time that we're living in. We do, you know, because again, we expect or are patiently waiting on new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we have a lot to look forward to. For the masses of the people, they think this is the end all be all for them. So it's just they just out of it. Like, damn.
Right.
You know?
That's why that phrase, ignorance is bliss, is, you know, significant for people in the world, man. You know, so they can be blind to the facts, you know what I'm saying, and continue to live and try and, what do they call it, YOLO, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Chasing that dopamine.
Yeah.
You know?
But back in this Isaiah 24, verse 8 in NLT, it says, the cheerful sound of tambourines is stilled.
Mm-hmm.
The happy cries of celebration are heard no more. The melodious chords of the harp are silent.
Right. All the music, you know what I'm saying? Like they say, ain't no good music no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the spirit, because I was at work, man. I just had a whole playlist of Marvin Gaye, you know, funk, you know, just playing funkadelics, you know, good music that make you want to dance, and, you know, so like, oh, man, you know what I'm saying? Move around and shit, pop your shoulders and shit. I was like, damn, man, I was like, this is music. Like, you know, bumfuckers make songs, but I'm like, this is music, instruments, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And everybody, you know, rejoicing, happy, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? In good spirits, man. You know, but now you got all this backyard boogie shit playing and all this op, you know what I'm saying? You know Jay deal with certain of that shit, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's not like that music, that feel good music, you know what I'm saying? Like, just like it said, the cheerful sound of tambourines is still, The happy cries of celebration are heard no more. You know what I'm saying? They out here celebrating nothing, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know.
Yep, you don't
Shit's
see
bogus.
Christmas lights and none of that shit like that no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and even thinking about, you know, the music, you know what I'm saying? It'd be some cool little songs and shit, but you know, it should be a minute 30,
Right.
2 minutes
Yeah.
max, 2 minutes 12 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta pay the bit 10 times, you know what I'm saying, and be fulfilled by the song.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, everything is out of whack. Everything.
So,
Back in verse 9 it says, "Gone are the joys of wine and song.
mm-hmm.
Alcoholic drink turns bitter in the mouth."
See, again, we just went into that part of verse 14. You know what I'm saying? Again, you know what I'm saying? After that mirth is sorrow, you know? So it's like, you know, even if you do go have a good time, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying, step out, you know, like niggas like to go to the club and shit, you know what I'm saying? And it's still like, you know, all the shit that you try to do to comfort yourself and make yourself, you know, put yourself in a married state is just gone. You know, everything is just bitter, you know?
Yep, you go out, you know what I'm saying, you gotta look over your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, of course, you know, that's always been the case in a way. But now much more than ever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Can't have a good time no more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can't even go out. Nigga want to dance and just have a good time and get shot, you know, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, damn, I'm hitting my Dougie and I just died. Damn.
Sorry.
The niggas hating on you. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
nigga doing the damn. What's the nigga name? What's the one nigga from Memphis? Black Boy J or some shit.
Oh yeah, Black Boy JV.
Yeah.
In that bitch. You know what I'm saying?
That nigga died, man. Sorry, bro. But yeah, bro, and that's all across the board. Even dealing with Edom, they feeling that shit too. They complaining the most, really, because you know, although it's the same thing for niggas. Niggas make the best out of anything. You know what I'm saying? The world ending and nigga be, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Fucking doing a worm or something. You know what I'm saying? But you know, the math is just all across the board, bro. Like people just losing it. You know, tired of working, just out of it through. You know, it's just done, man. Like that American spirit, the holiday spirit is gone. Trick or treating. You know what I'm saying? I remember them times. Shit used to, you know, of course, this shit was off, but that shit was like, damn, it was good fun. You know, got your trick or treat bag. Well, you know, for us, we got pillowcases and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Pillowcase.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, Jake ass in the hood and shit. You know, we had pillowcases and shit. But them days was fun, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you worked with you, even like I said, being in the hood, growing up fucked up, man. You worked with what you had and you made do, and made a good time out of shit. You know. But now it's just that shit is just gone, bro. It's gone. But you got it, bro. Some more.
Yeah, but verse 10 says, "The city rides in chaos. Every home is locked to keep out intruders." You know, and as we see things get worse, it's only going to get more serious with topics like this. You know, ain't nobody really going to come out the crib. You know what I'm saying? Cribs boarded up. All that type of stuff. It's only going to get more and more serious, man. You know? Verse 11, it says, "Mobs gather in the streets, crying out for wine. Joy has turned to gloom. Joy has turned to gloom. Gladness has been banished from the land." Man, are we living that right now? You know?
Joy has been turned to gloom. That's America. Hey, come on, man. It just proves the scripture's true, bro. You know, prophetically speaking of Babylon the Great, this is exactly the times that we're in. You know what I'm saying? It's just everything. It's just dark. It's just gloomy. You know what I'm saying? You just feel it in the air. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit just ain't it. You know what I'm saying? It's just never ending, bro. You know, at this point.
Yep. Real quick, I'll get that definition for gloom. It says, partial or total darkness, a state of depression or despondency.
The state of depression. You see? Everyone's depressed. Niggas taking antidepressants, you know what I'm saying? Again, you know, looking for substance to help, you know, fill that empty void they feel at night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that comfort, that peace, and like I said, you know, we was going into nostalgia. You know what I'm saying? All those things, you know, to try to comfort themselves concerning the state of the world. You know, but we here to tell you that things only gonna get worse. You know what I'm saying? Things aren't gonna get better. You know? It's over for that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, that was the illusion Esau Edom has fed the masses of the people, that, you know, this was, you know what I'm saying, that the American dream, all right? Come here, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And live a good life and all that. Even immigrants are coming out to say, man, this shit ain't it. You know? Just working, you know what I'm saying, mad hours, tired, all right? And for the increase, it's just barely none. You know, everyone's living paycheck to paycheck. I seen this one guy, I think he's like some type of engineer technician or something like that. He makes well over 100K, but he stays in a damn trailer home, barely making it. You know what I'm saying? And he was complaining. You know, he living paycheck to paycheck. You know what I'm saying? You know, and living like that, making over 100,000. You know what I'm saying? Back, you know, like our time or something.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. You know, you was on top. All right, but see what has happened. What Esau Edom has made it 2 classes instead of 3. Ain't no rich, middle class, and poor. It's poor and rich. That's it. Ain't no divide. You know what I'm saying? That's it. The middle class is gone. Are you just a higher, poorer person than me? You know what I'm saying? But you just getting by just like I am. All right.
Yep, and that's why people are beginning to resort to desperate measures, or what you may see online, take that risk, you know what I'm saying, and going to go do something to make money, because, you know, Esau is raising prices on everything, you know what I'm saying, taxes and rent and bills and all these different switches that they got going on, but people are not making no more money than what they were, you know what I'm saying, so you getting charged more, but you're not making more. So now what do? You either live and you barely eat, or you go out and you go do something to make some extra money. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people these days don't have no skills. You know what I'm saying? The biggest skills these days is content. And what they call content.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Niggas think they can be rappers or drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? Schemers, scammers. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what Esau's community, or Esau's world, is resorting to more and more. You know, and once shit get really real, you know what I'm saying, all them people that's out there, they're going to be looting and stealing to make ends meet. You know what I'm saying, willing to lay you down and take what you have, you know, to survive.
I appreciate that real quick.
Yep.
This is Proverbs 28:12. It says, when the godly succeed, everyone is glad. When the wicked take charge, people go into hiding. See? So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like now, you know what I'm saying? Like, seeing the wicked rule, people are going into hiding. People are fucked up. They're mourning. You know, they're not happy. You know, they you know what I'm saying? They try to flee, you know what I'm saying? You know, the times at hand. You know, but you know, ultimately, like I said again, this is why the righteous judges, the true rulers, the ones who were, you know, intended to rule over the planet Earth, need to be set up, beginning with Yahweh Shai. All right, real quick, I'll grab another precept in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6 and verses 24. It says, but the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world, and a wise king is the upholding of the people. You see? One more time, but the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world. Who's the wise? You know, ultimately dealing with that governing body, okay, under Yahweh Shai, is the welfare of the world. Look up the word welfare. It says condition of being or doing well. You see, so we need wise judges, wise rulers in the planet Earth for the world to do well, to be in a good condition. And it says, and a wise king is the upholding of the people. But Esau isn't a wise king. He's a king of destruction, and he's oppressing the people. He's squeezing the people, man.
Yep.
All right, and that's what we see, the big squeeze coming down upon Babylon the Great. All the mirth is gone, the bills are high. All right, inflation is at an all-time high. Shrinkflation. You see. So this is why people are chasing that old dopamine and wishing they were kids and shit again. You know, wishing they were in the golden ages of America, or when times when America was booming and thriving, and like I said, things were simple. You know. But that's it.
Hey, that's it for me too, man. You know, Lord willing, you know, prophecy stays on the high route, you know, and we got to hear soon, man. You know, we can truly live in a kingdom where we can be safe, we can have rest, you know what I'm saying, we can have fun, all that, you know, all the things that, you know, has faded away from this place, you know, will I'll get it back, you know what I'm saying, for 100-fold, as the scriptures speak about, you know. But you good?
Come. Yeah. Lord willing.
So with that, Lord willing, that was edifying. We give our praise, honor, and our glory again to
Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash.
Don't rise against the elders and apostles of Great Mill Service and Shalom and the Bible.
Shalom.